Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Peyton Anderson back with Next Level Athletes. I am thrilled to have Paddy Turner on the podcast today. The punting sensation out of Ararat, Australia, saw himself average 39.1 yards per punt on 66 attempts while having a long of 56 yards. Paddy, first of all, thanks so much for coming on today.
No, thanks, Peyton. It's great to be here, mate.
Of course. And let's start with your recruitment out of high school. Talk us through that decision. What ultimately led you to Nevada to begin with?
Yeah, it was a bit of a different one coming from back home. Obviously, American football isn't very big over there. I didn't play it growing up, so it was a bit of a different one. But when I was getting recruited, the coaches from Nevada were very welcoming to me, and we connected straight away. They were very genuine. I got recruited from a couple other schools, but like I said, they were very genuine coaches from Nevada. So that's where I chose to pursue my career, and definitely didn't regret it. And it's something that I'm eternally grateful for.
And additionally, what would you say was the biggest takeaway for you throughout that experience and like with recruitment in general?
Yeah, it was definitely a big deal for me and my family. It was something I was working really hard for. So it's definitely something I look back on now and cherish. But at the time, obviously, it was pretty stressful, and I just wanted to get over here and start playing football. So biggest takeaway was just being myself. If I could go back and do it again, I wouldn't be as stressed. I'd sort of enjoy
Mhm.
that process and definitely take it all in because it really is a once in a lifetime sort of thing, and you don't get to go back and do that ever again. So yeah, just being
Mhm.
able to take it all in and enjoy the process rather than trying to impress everyone.
Mhm. And seeing that you spent one redshirt season in 2021 at Nevada, what would you say you learned most during that season?
Um, yeah, that's a good question because I definitely learned a lot. It was my first year in America, the first time I'd been to America. So I didn't really know what to expect. So I learned a lot of what it's like to be an athlete at the college level. Eating right, lifting right, the conditioning, keeping good grades, and just the day to day things that you need to do that not many people would realize. So um, it's definitely a grind. It's a full time job. So pretty much every decision you make has to depict on football. Everything impacts your career, and yeah, essentially you just have to live life as a professional while still going to school as well.
Mhm. And going back to high school, you were a product of Pro Kick Australia. Additionally, your father was a professional footballer in the AFL from 1991 to 1999. First off, what would you say was your all-time favorite memory, but also something you'd say you miss most about being in high school in general?
Um, I come from a very small town. It's a very small community and a tight knit community. So I guess just being able to just pretty much do whatever to have fun. Everyone knew each other, so just being able to hang out with my friends and um, sort of go through high school without the pressure of the outside world was real fun. And a fondest memory, I probably couldn't name one specific, just because I really enjoyed where I grew up and the people I
Hmm.
grew up with. So I'd probably just say that. And yeah, like you touched on with Dad and his career in Australian football, he's been a great supporter and had some great advice for me since being over here.
Hmm.
Just sort of learning how to ride the roller coaster of sport. Being at the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, he's really helped me manage that. In my opinion, in a professional manner. Um, so yeah, without him, yeah, I don't know how I would have been able to handle some of the situations we've been in through football.
Of course. And moving back forward, talk us through your decision to commit to Colorado State back in January of 2022. What about Colorado State stood out to you most?
Well, it was again a bit of a different one. Like I said, the coaches that recruited me to Nevada, they were so genuine and welcoming to me. So when they left Nevada, only a couple months before, I was sort of considering a lot of options on what I should do. I ended up entering the transfer portal, hoping that they could essentially recruit me again because I really connected with those coaches and wanted to play for them. They were the ones that gave me a chance like I said, I hadn't played before, so it was a big risk for them. So I sort of wanted to stay loyal to those coaches and entered the portal, and lucky enough they recruited me again. I love the community here in Fort Collins. I love the opportunity that CSU can provide both in football but also in the workforce. And yeah, just Colorado so picturesque, mate. You can look
Yeah,
anywhere in every direction, and it's just a great sight. So yeah, no,
yeah.
it was very special.
Course. And I'm looking back at last season. Talk about what you were most proud of from yourself last season. Anything you might have wanted to perform better in that you feel you didn't do last season. But also talk us through your main focus in your training in order to take your game to the next level going into next season beyond.
Yeah, last season was huge for not only me but for the whole team. Like I said, we had a brand new coaching staff. There's a lot of new players in the green and gold. So it was a huge year of gelling and making a connection with everyone, which I feel that we did. But obviously, with that, it took a while to get going, which was unfortunate. You know, we lost a few games by a lot, and then we lost a few games that we should have won. And I feel that was pretty big. But looking back on it now, I was proud to be at the front of that pack. I was very honoured and very proud to be named captain. So that wasn't something I went into sort of seeking, but it was something that sort of I fell into, and it was very
Hmm.
honouring there. And you know, I wish I could have contributed more with my punting. I wanted to have a bit more of a bigger average and sort of hurt opposition more with their field position. However, I had a bit of a shaky season, and like I said before, the highs are great and the lows were pretty bad. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's something I'm working on this off season, just being able to really penetrate the field position game and hurt the opposition that way.
And adding on to that, what's one goal you have, whether that be getting punts inside the 20 or as you said, the main just getting your average up?
Um, a goal I'd say was is nothing specific, just being able to contribute to the team, whether that's in the punt game, and yeah, pinning the opposition deep, or if it's just me being a leader on the sideline, trying to get our young guys up and going, and even getting our experienced guys the recognition they deserve, or whether it's just in practice, you know, just putting in the extra yards to help someone else compete and be better as well.
Hmm.
I just want to help CSU get to the top of the game where I know we can get to, and I know where that's where we belong.
Hmm. And when talking about recruitment, NIL deals, and everything else in between, it can be a lot for athletes. I'm sure if you ask any, it can be a lot to handle a lot of the time. So, for yourself, taking your own experience into account, what advice would you have to share with anyone wanting to pursue a collegiate athletic career, as well as anything they should look out for and just be aware of when deciding where they want to play at?
Of course, yeah, and it's a like you said, it's a tricky situation. It's a stressful time for some, but the only advice I'd sort of have is go where you're appreciated. You know, like it's very easy to get caught up in the starlights, and you know you want to go to the Alabama, the Georgia, like the big dogs with the NCAA.
Hmm.
And of course, if you can, that's great. But if you're getting sort of recruited by a Power Five school, for instance, that are sort of they're in, they're out, they're not 100% sure, they're just sort of treating you as a number, or
Hmm.
you're getting recruited by an FBS school that's all in. You know, they're putting in the effort, they're writing your letters, they're coming to see you, they're watching your film. Like I know where I'd be going. I'd go to that FCS school for sure. Go where you're appreciated. Go where you know you can make an impact. And go where you know you can elevate your game to that next level through coaching, through teammates, and through your own opportunities.
And would you say, adding on to that, would you say building a trustful relationship with the program and coaching staff is most important out of all? Would you
For
say?
sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like no matter where you come from, whether it is somewhere like Australia or if it's you're going from California to Florida, like you're going to be a fair way away from home. So essentially, those coaches are your point of contact, and they're the ones that you have to lean on. So if you don't have a great connection with your coach from the get go, you're going to feel pretty isolated and pretty alone at times. So a trusting coach and a supporting coach is something that you definitely have to seek out.
course. And then when transitioning over to life off the field, what does a typical day look like for you during the season and the off season?
Um, Off season and during season, they're pretty similar for me. I'm pretty bloody boring. I won't lie. I just bloody wake up
Yeah.
and head to practice. We practice in the mornings here at CSU. So depending how my body is, both in the off season and during the season, I'll tend to get to the facility a little bit earlier to get some treatment in. Um, Maybe get in the cold tub or the hot tub, get the body moving before practice. After practice, to sort of go get some food with the boys, whether it's the kickers and snappers or whoever it is.
Hmm.
Just sort of get some food in before class, and then the afternoon's pretty much full of class. Uh, yeah, then pretty much head home. I live with two other guys from the team, Brian Hanson and Brady Rads. They're both great guys who I enjoy living with, and we
Hmm.
just hang out, talk crap, have a laugh, and then
Yeah.
do the same exact thing the next day. So pretty boring, but it's the way I like it.
Uh-huh. And additionally, let's talk about your major. What is it about, but also why you chose it and what possibilities it might have in store for you in your future.
Yeah, so I'm in a liberal arts degree, which is it's kind of like a general studies degree. It sort of opens up a lot of doors for me after school. I minor in sports management, which is really cool as well.
Nice.
We have a partnership with the Colorado Rockies, which has been awesome to speak with them and work with them in some ways. So yeah, something in the future I'd love to get into something sports psychology related. I think that's a huge part of today's game in any sport. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like I can have an impact with athletics through that pathway, but also like marketing, bit of coaching as well. So if there's any high school coaches out there that need a special teams coach in a
Yeah.
couple of years, hit me up.
Yeah.
It's it'll be I
'Cause
think that'd
you're
be a
you're
good
the guy,
opportunity.
of
Yeah,
course.
it'd be good
And
fun.
and taking a deeper dive into Colorado State as a whole, including the football program, what would you say the program prides themselves most on when it comes to their student athletes?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think the culture here at CSU is a culture that I haven't seen before. It's a really tight knit group, and all of our student athletes are very hardworking and very driven. We all come here for the one purpose, and that's to win. And that's us. I guess that's anywhere. However, just the celebration of each team's victory here is great. You know, like we attend the volleyball games as a team. We attend the basketball games as a team. Soccer, softball, track and field. Like the list goes on. You know, it's a great athletics community. The school has great support. The town has great support. Um, and just the hunger and determination here for the Rams is incredible.
Hmm. And additionally, how would you best summarize what it means not only to be a Colorado State Ram, but also how the program separates themselves just as a whole and how they run their program from, I mean, even just the typical schools you'll talk about, Alabama, Clemson, in the Big Ten. Like, how do they separate themselves from others when it comes to how they run their entire program?
Yeah, I think we're very lucky here with the facilities we have. Our facilities here, especially with the football program, compete with the big schools of the Power Five conferences. You know, like it's definitely appealing, both to the naked eye, but once you become a part of the culture, you sort of realize how much CSU helps and how much CSU puts into the programs. You have so many people supporting you and helping you, whether it's the strength staff, the nutrition staff, the academic staff, even just the professors of every class. Like everyone's so bought in to success and to progression. So I think that's how we separate ourselves from other schools and our rivals is how many people are on board. Um, Unfortunately, we've had a pretty rough couple of seasons, the last few
Hmm.
seasons, but it still just hasn't shied away from the determination and the buy-in that everyone's had for the Rams.
Hmm. And looking into the NIL world and opportunities, what have you been involved with or a part of so far in your collegiate career, if anything?
Actually, none, which is annoying because as an international student, we're not allowed to pursue any NIL deals
Oh, okay.
due to our visa status. So it is a bit of a bummer because I'd love to be out there helping local businesses, the small businesses. However, the NCAA aren't allowing us yet, but hopefully a few years down the track, who knows? But yeah, no NIL deals for me yet.
Okay. And staying on the topic of NIL, your personal thoughts about it. What do you think it has to offer? But also one major benefit you think it has, as well as potential negative impact it can have on athletes and college football in its entirety, if anything.
I think it's great. I think it's a great implementation for the NCAA. Both in male conferences and female conferences, it gives people an outlet to boost their platform and really put their name out there for the next level. There's a lot of great athletes here at CSU. Our women's basketball and women's volleyball team are both really good, and they have some athletes there that can definitely pursue that next level. So the NIL is definitely helping that, put their name out there. But also just for the community of Fort Collins, we're up here in northern Colorado. It gives athletes a chance to spread some positivity and spread some advertising for the small businesses throughout the community. That don't get the limelight of the big businesses in the cities. So
Hmm.
I think that's great for not only the community of where those schools are, but the players obviously get to benefit from that as well.
Of course. And seeing that you are from Australia, for those unaware, including myself, what's the environment and atmosphere like over there?
There's similarities and differences. I think our cultures are similar in a lot of ways. I think the sporting world is very similar in the fact of how passionate we are. Australia and America are so passionate about their sports and so driven
Yeah.
about their sports. We have no kind of college sports though, so that atmosphere over here is incredible. Yeah, it's definitely something that Australia would love to have, but we just don't have the population or
Mhm.
anything like that to be able to pursue it. Um, and yeah, I think it's the food over here is insane. Like the standards of portions and things like that
Yeah.
is just crazy. Like back home, you just wouldn't imagine half the things that get served over here.
Hmm.
And cultures in terms of like socialization is very similar. You're very social people, very connected, very welcoming, and I think that goes both way from back home and over here as well.
And so first off, what would you say was your favorite part of growing up in Australia? But also, if anyone was to visit Australia, what is one thing you'd recommend to someone in order to get a true Australian experience?
Um, Geez, I could pick a lot of things. Like growing up in Australia gave me so many opportunities. I think, like I said, with the sporting throughout the communities is great. Like I just loved being able to represent my town and play with my mates in football, basketball, cricket, track. Played a lot of sports growing up, so the social aspect of that of creating friendships and relationships to last a lifetime. That's probably my favorite part of where I grew up. And for someone visiting Australia, the cities are great. Like the cities have everything that you need. But if you want like a true Australian experience, I'd go to a small country town and go to their local pub. You'll meet some weird
Yeah.
characters there, but you'll
Yeah.
meet great people there as well, and you'll definitely get a full experience by going to a small town pub and just having a good night.
Memories for a lifetime, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And looking back into life off the field, how would you first describe yourself not only as an athlete on the field, an individual off the field, but on top of that, what do you pride yourself most on when it comes to just life in general?
Yeah, that's so many people have different answers for a question like that, and mine's similar and different in certain ways. I love the game of American football. Like I live and breathe it, and I get home, I'll watch football, I'll watch film of football, of practices and games and whatnot, just to try and get better, to learn and educate myself. I still got a lot of rules and a lot of
Yeah.
things I got to learn about American football. Especially my NFL knowledge. I'm not too sure about many
Yeah,
players, so I
it's
might need to keep playing Madden there to learn a bit
yeah.
more. But
Mhm.
I also like stepping away from the game as well. Like I enjoy watching movies, playing golf, playing some basketball, just some friendly pickup with my mates. Like it sort of takes my mind off the game and sort of lets me refresh for the next day as well. Keeps it as a hobby rather than a lifestyle, and keeps the enjoyment in it as well. So I'd say I'm pretty relaxed off the field. Some people might say different. I'm not really sure. It depends who you ask, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just enjoy spending a little bit of alone time and sort of recuperating, but then also hanging out with my friends and just having fun while we're young.
Yeah, of course. And additionally, what would you say is your go-to spot on campus?
Oh, mm. There's
If you had
certainly a
to
lot of
choose
good spots
one.
on campus.
Yeah.
There's some good spots on campus, but I'm a big coffee addict. I love coffee, and we have this coffee truck, the Human Bean. It's over
Mhm.
by our student athlete academic center. So every time I walk past there, it gets a good hold of me, and I make sure to stop in for a coffee as well. So that's probably my go-to.
Course. And seeing that the team went 3-9 last season with a conference record of 3-5, uh, you talked about the main takeaway from how the season played out and a gelling kind of season with a lot of new athletes coming in and new coaching staff. What is one thing you're using as motivation and as a chip on your shoulder going forward?
Yeah, you summed it up pretty well. It was definitely a gelling year. We had a lot of young guys come in and get some quality reps. We had a lot of new faces come in and have to gel pretty quickly. And it was sort of that middle ground where we had a few players that were really experienced, and then a few players that had no experience, essentially like myself. So just trying to really close that gap, and that's something that's going to motivate us this year. Everyone's had those first year jitters out of the way now. There'll be no more of those freshman mistakes. Some might call them. And it's that chip on the shoulder that we know our best is good enough, and our best is one of the best in the conference. So that really drives us. There's a lot of games that we should have won last year, in my opinion, and in a lot of my teammates' opinions. And we want that vengeance back. We want to be able to compete not only in our conference but compete against the bigger schools in non-conference play and shock a lot of people except ourselves because we know what we're
Mhm.
capable of.
Of course. And additionally, when it comes to expectations, not only going into next season, but beyond that, um, what would you have to say to fans who are maybe on the fence of, oh, should I buy some tickets to see these guys play? What would you have to say to them when factoring in of why they should come see you guys play and buy tickets?
I mean, it's a it's a nationwide question. What can we do to get more fans in the stadium? And the way we're going to get fans in Canvas Stadium here in Fort Collins is how hungry we are. We're so hungry. We're so determined to get that win column ticking over. And the way we're practicing, both on the field, in the weight room, in the conditioning, like we know we can do it. We know we're good enough to be the best, and that's essentially all you have to think about. Was come watch one practice and see how hard we fight. We're going from the first snap to the last snap. It's 100% every time, and that's something that's a huge positive for our team right now. Is that winning culture that we're striving for, and that we're hungry for. There's not one person in that locker room that doesn't want to win. There's not one
Hmm.
person in that locker room that doesn't want to put in 100%. Every single person is absolutely fighting to be the best.
Of course. And I know you have a lot of time left in your collegiate career, but when looking at the next level, like the NFL, if you're asked by a scout or a coach what you're capable of, what you can add to a roster, but also why they should look into you specifically over others at your position, how would you respond to that?
Um, I compare punting to if I'm like to another sport to make it a bit more simple for other people is like a golfer, obviously in golf or a pitcher in baseball. Baseball, for instance, everyone has their fastball, which for a punter, it's just everyone's got their standard spiral that they can just kick to the returner.
Mhm.
But what else? What else can I bring, and what else would I be able to show a scout? I pride myself on my uh, different kinds of punts that I can do, and being able to kick on both feet rather than just one. Obviously, in the NFL, you don't really see the rugby punts as much just due to the play style, but being able to stay in the pocket and sort of keep the returners and keep the opponents guessing, and be really attacking with it. Try and make each returner drop the ball and get the ball back to score. Rather than be conservative and just sort of aim for that fair catch. I want to be attacking. I don't want to contribute. So having several different kinds of punts, several different types of punts, just like
Mhm.
a major league pitcher has several different types of pitches to
Yeah.
keep that returner guessing. So yeah,
It's a
that's
great
what
that's
I've
a
got.
great that's a great comparison. Um, and when thinking of the people that mean the most to you in your life growing up, who would this or these people be for you specifically? But also, if they were to be listening, what would you have to share with them?
Definitely my family. That obviously goes without saying. Both my immediate family and my extended family, they've been so supportive throughout my whole life. Whatever I wanted to do, I could come home and say the most ridiculous thing, and every single
Yeah.
one of my family was like, "Oh yeah, go for it! Like go
Hmm.
do it." Like there's not many people that would come home in Australia and say, "Yeah, I want to move to America and play a game that I've never played before in front of
Yeah.
100,000 people." But I did that, and my family said, "Yeah, do it, go for it. Like, let's support you, and you can do it." Um, my girlfriend was a huge impact on that as well. She supported me since day one of trying this and going through this journey. She was able to come to the Michigan game, which was my first ever game, and that meant the world to me to have her there. But also, just my community, my friends. Like a lot of people supported me when I didn't know they were. They and a lot of athletes sort of get to a certain point of their career where they're just trying to prove people wrong.
Hmm.
An Australian footballer named Kane Lambert sort of said in his one of his speeches that rather than trying to prove the negative people wrong, start trying to prove the positive people right. Like you owe it to the people that love you and care for you and who have supported you and told you that you could do things. You owe it to them to be able to prove them right and show them, yes, like I can do that. And prove to
Hmm.
yourself that all those people that have been supporting you through the years, like they've been seeing it for so long, it's about time you see it as well. So
Uh-huh.
all those people that have supported me, both family, friends, my community, my teachers, all of those people that there's way too many to name off the top of my head.
Yeah. Of
Being able to prove those people right and really make them proud is what I'm trying to achieve over here.
course. And would you say that quote is kind of the main piece of advice or phrase you kind of live by and relate to most?
Yeah, that one, and I've sort of been going off a new one lately. Saw it on TikTok. I feel bad. I can't really remember where I heard it, but
Hmm.
whenever you're nervous, just think like you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Like life has a funny path and it has a set path, in my opinion, for you to live on. So you are exactly where you're supposed to be. There's no need to be nervous. There's no need to be scared. Just enjoy it. You're where you're meant to be. And yeah, back onto that other quote is to prove people right. Like you are where you are. Goodness gracious, English is tough.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
are
it's okay.
exactly where you're meant to be, and they see you where you are. Um, so there's a lot of people who already knew you were going to be where you were. So you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That's how I'm going day by day right now.
Hmm. And when it comes to off the field, I know you've already talked about NIL stuff and your limitations not being able to do that because for international students, but in the years going forward, even after college, what is something you want to be able to advocate and use your platform to advocate for, whether that be mental health or something different like helping small businesses in the future?
Yeah. So kind of a silver lining of the NIL with the no NIL with international athletes is I'm in the process now of trying to set up a bit of a charity for mental health in Northern Colorado.
It's
Um,
great.
Unfortunately, the suicide rates here in Colorado are very high compared to the rest of the country.
Hmm.
So being able to give back to the community and setting up a charity is something I've been trying to do for a while, and it's hopefully close to getting off the ground now, and that's really exciting. But that's something I'm a huge advocate for is mental health. I see a sports psychologist myself to help me not only with my game but also just my performance everywhere in life. And it's something I really encourage all athletes to do, but also just the everyday person. Someone's always wanting to listen, um,
Hmm.
so go and talk. Um, it's definitely not a burden to share your problems with other people, and yeah, I think it's very important for people to understand that their problems aren't a burden to other people. So I definitely want to be remembered for being able to help people in their darkest days, see how loved and how valued they are as people.
Hmm. And going off of what you just said about how you want to be remembered, I know you have a lot of time left in your collegiate career, but when it eventually comes to an end, how do you want to be remembered most for during your time, not only with Nevada, but also with Colorado State?
I mean, ideally, a good player that'd be nice.
Hmm. Yeah.
But also, I think just within the locker room, a good person. We spend so much time with each other, as does every other team in the country. Um, I just want to be remembered for being able to come into the locker room and make someone smile. Maybe make someone who's having a bad day have a good day just by having a chat. Like I want to be a positive, excuse me, a positive source of energy for the locker room.
Hmm. And last question, what do you think you'll miss most about being in college and having the opportunity to play football at the collegiate level when things are all said and done?
Oh, the camaraderie for sure. Um, Geez, my throat. Sorry.
You're good. You're okay. It's all good.
Yeah, the camaraderie of a locker room is something that you just can't compare to anything else. You've got on a football team 110 people, so you've got 109 brothers. Like the fun, the laughs, the games we play, like throughout the facility is something that I'll miss. And any past player or former player you speak to, they say the exact same thing. They just miss being able to suit up with their brothers and go to battle on the football field, but then also the day to day fun you have at practice, in the locker room, in the players' lounge, like all those stuff. You don't get that anywhere else. So that's something I'll definitely miss past my college career.
Of course. And once again, Paddy Turner, Colorado State punter. Paddy, really appreciate you taking the time today, and I wish you nothing but the best with your future, man.
I appreciate it, Peyton. You too, mate.
Of course. Thank you.